Hello, my name is William, and this is a tutorial on Chapter 1 of Programming in Visual Basic 2010. It's by Bradley and Millspaugh. This Part 1 of Chapter 1 will focus on pages 16 through 28. You will to get started, you go to the Start menu and start the program. It says to go to the Start menu, locate Microsoft Visual Studio 2010 or Microsoft Visual Basic 2010. This is a really important part because there's a lot of different versions of Visual so-and-so, and you could actually get confused. I did, and I was wondering because it looks exactly the same, except one word's different, and that one word makes a big difference. And that's a lot like programming. You got to follow exactly like they tell you, or else if you don't do it exactly like they tell you. So it says to go to File and open a new project. You could just do it from right here, but you want to go to File and open a new project. You want to do it the way they tell you to do it. And that's still on page 16. It says you want to select Windows Forms application. You want to name it in step 3 on page, or step 2 on page 16. You want to name it Hello World. And then you click OK. And then it says on page 17 to set up your environment. So I guess if somebody else was using the environment before you were, you want to be able to reset it and then set it up the way you want it to be set up. So to do that, on page 17, it tells you, this is page 17 of Programming in Visual Basic 2010 by Bradley and Millspaugh, to go up to Window and select Reset Window Layout. And it asks me, am I sure that I want to restore the default window layout for the environment? Yes, I am sure. Not much has changed. But if it was, somebody had maybe closed all these windows, and then you go, you reset the window layout. Now it's a little easier, but you want to go up here, go to Toolbox, and click this thing. It's a pin, push pin, and it locks it in place so that you can have this available. So that's the first 2 pages. Then on to page 18, it tells you to sketch out a drawing of what you're going to do. So I'm going to put a label right here and 2 buttons. Then on page 19, it says to resize the form, just so you know how to do so. Then you can make it larger by pulling on these handles. And now it says to place a label at the bottom of page 19. So you click. I just clicked once and it placed the label. You can also click and drag. There's another label. You can click on it, but we only need 1 label. I'm going to click on 3 labels. Oh no. I'll use the delete key to delete 1, delete 2. Not the backspace, but the DEL key. Delete. And then it tells you on page 20 how to delete, and how to drag. And it wants you to take note of, say I'm using the button, click and drag. I want you to take notice of the snap lines and the resizing handles. And it also goes on page 21 that you can change the auto size. See over here, you can change the auto size to false, and then you'll get handles for it, just in case if you need text to go over 2 lines or more. But for now, we're going to leave it as true. And we have one button here. So we've seen 2 different ways of doing it, and you can also just double click it and it just throws it on there. I like that way the best. So that is what is explained up to about page 22. Then on page 23 talks about locking. See, right now I can select this and move it around. If I select lock controls, I'm right clicking. I right clicked somewhere on the form, and now I can't move anything. I can still select it and change the properties, but I can't do anything else. I can't move it. Oops, I accidentally double clicked on it. So now what it wants us to do is to change the label. You want to change the name and the text property. This is the properties box. You always want this open. And if it's not already open, you can go to view, other windows, and properties window. It has the Solution Explorer, the toolbox, Database Explorer, error list. These are all the things that you want. Very important. It's under the View tab. So now we go to Label, click on the properties. We're going to start at the top and kind of get into a little methodical way of starting with the name. I press backspace, and then it's going to be called Message Label, because that's what the book tells me to write on page 24 for step 3. And it's also letting you know that you can see the system window form label. It's kind of telling you where exactly label 1 is in the hierarchy. It's under labels, forms, windows, and then the system. So now it's called the message label. This will change once I click out of it. But I also want, oh, there, go ahead and change right now. And I also want to change the text to nothing. Then I go to button 1. I go up to the name. I want to call it push button. This is on page, or yeah, this is all the way on page 27. You want to call it push button, and then change the text to push me. The text is what gets displayed to the person on the screen. And go up here, and instead of going over here to select it, I can go over here, select button 2, and go all the way. You know, this is all about trying to find ways to save time. This is going to be called the exit button. You want to start naming things the same way That's why you want to read the book and get the fundamentals down. Because what I'm doing is explaining in the book why I'm doing things a certain way. And then the text is going to be exit. And it also wants you to select on the properties of the form. I clicked on the form, and then we want to change the name of form to Hello World by so and so, and then it wants us to start position to change. This is still on the bottom of page 27, and then to the step 3 on page 28. Once you go to the start position and change it to center screen. And then in the Solution Explorer, step 4 on page 28, you're going to change Form 1. I just clicked on it once. I'm going to change it. Make sure not to delete the VB, the .VB at the end. Change it to Hello World. I press return. Takes a second for it to take effect, and there you go. I'm actually going to unlock it, resize it, and that is what I said. We're going to go up to page 28 of Programming in Visual Basic 2010 by Bradley and Millspaugh. This is the Los Angeles City College version. Sorry I didn't mention that earlier. I'm not sure what's special about this, but it is the Los Angeles City College version. And so it should be good for another year, hopefully, even though they've come out with 2012.